What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast. Sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor. You guys can go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. So yesterday we had quite a bit of activity, especially through Arkansas. Fort Smith got a lot of hail. Same with the Little Rock area, and so we're going to go over our 4-star map. And then after that, we have a widespread risk day today, all the way from Minnesota down into Texas and then eastward into the Ohio Valley. So we're going over who could see large hail, heavy winds, and tornadoes as well. And then it's going to be a part 2 tomorrow. Storm System Derik is continuing to wreak havoc across a lot of the U.S. We could see heavy wind again, tornadoes, and hail possible through a lot of the Mississippi Valley and the Midwest tomorrow. So going to go over all of that, but before our wonderful weather, going into our upcoming events. So the only one of those, if you guys haven't heard yet, is going to be the Beacon Grand Opening. This is in Aurora, Colorado at 14200 East Moncrief Place on April 14th. So if you guys are in the Aurora, Colorado area, or if you just need a reason to go out to Colorado, talk some weather, get a chance to win a new UTV, and you can see the new Beacon location. So come out and say hello, and we will see you there. So now into yesterday's storm reports. So here's what we're going to go over. We're going to go over our map as well, but just preliminary. Here's where all of our hail reports came in through the U.S. here, through specifically Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then we did get a little bit of subsevere activity and some severe activity here through Missouri. Didn't quite make it down into Texas yesterday, but we have another shot today, so you DFW roofers, keep your fingers crossed. But through Fort Smith area, we got some hail, some tornadoes as well, and then through Little Rock, near the Cabot area, and then just south of Little Rock, we got some severe hail as well. I know. How about Dallas? We're going to talk about it actually quite a bit in a moment here for our day 1 hail forecast, but first just going over what happened yesterday here. So, you know, hang on tight. We're gonna get to Dallas in a second, but for our 4-star map for yesterday, this is what that looked like. Started all the way in Oklahoma, the far eastern part of the state, moved up through Fort Smith, dropped some 2.5-inch hail. In the city, we got some tennis ball sized stones, and then tracking eastward, and then it really ramped up. This is where we got our max hail size for the night. You can see it behind me there, 4.5 inches. So we got softball sized hail that moved just north of Charleston with this storm, as well as some tornadoes that tracked through the area as well. And then, I know, wow, 4.5 inches, it's crazy. We got a ton of huge hail with this. We got even more baseball-sized hailstones that moved through Cabot, Arkansas, just northeast of Little Rock yesterday. And then some larger stones that moved just north of Benton. So a ton of large, crazy hail yesterday. Impacted over 77,000 homes with that. So very impactful storm, and just one of the crazy weather days that we're going to continue to see with Storm System Derik. Where in Oklahoma yesterday got hail, that was the southeastward portion near Atoka. It was pretty rural out there, but you know, where we saw those severe hail reports that came in, that was mostly where our severe hail was occurring yesterday. Current conditions across the country, you can see, again, you can see the spin that low pressure system is causing in the northern part of the U.S. here. But then we've got another feature that could be problematic for Oklahoma, specifically for our hail chances. But starting out with the northern part of our risk area, we've got that clearing, and out ahead of that is where we could start to see our storm development into this afternoon and evening. And that could be pretty intense because there's really nothing inhibiting it. Oklahoma has a chance for large hail today, and if you guys have watched the past few forecasts, you know we've kind of been waiting to see what all this is going to pan out to do. And this is what's really problematic with this system, is there's a shortwave trough, or just a baby disturbance, that's moving just south of Oklahoma, kicking up all of this precipitation, and that's causing the air behind it to cool. And we need that heat, we need that humidity, we need that rising air to help fuel those thunderstorms. So if this can get out of the way fast enough, and Oklahoma can get kind of positioned in between those two troughs, then we could get some crazy hail through the central plains here, through Wichita, OKC, and Norman. However, if these don't position themselves right, we could get nothing. So it could be clear skies, we could get baseballs, but the positioning of these two troughs is really key today. Dallas, you're in a better position, so we could get some larger hail for you guys into tonight as this moves out of the way, and then we get some clearing for y'all as well. So we're watching it, but Oklahoma, Wichita, Oklahoma City, and Wichita area are in a particularly tricky area for this risk today. So current temperature wise, 74 in Dallas, 77 in Houston, so hot, muggy, ready for that severe weather to form. 71 in Kansas City, so similar situation for you guys. And you can see that cold front starting to pop through Nebraska there and starting to track eastward with that into the Idaho area or the Iowa area as the afternoon and evening plays forward. So could see some pretty intense severe weather with that cold front, and now it's intersecting a dry line. So we get what we call a triple point where that cold front intersects that dry line. That's where we get the most intense severe weather, and that's forecast as this cold front moves into this dry line area. That's forecast to start around Nebraska and then track southeastward through Kansas. So right now, dew points at 62 in Wichita, 22 in Denver. So a sharp cutoff between that humidity and between that dry air. Same with Dallas, 68, and then much drier off in the panhandle. So that dry line is pretty sharp, and that cold front is pretty sharp as well, and it's moving into that area. So once those two intersect and that low starts to disturb that air, our storms are really going to blow up into this afternoon. The instability is no surprise that it's crazy high this afternoon. So through Omaha and through Wichita, we're seeing those high values as well as down in Dallas. And that is going to help those updrafts form in that area of instability, and with that we could see some severe hail. Now as that bands up and tracks southeastward, we'll see that instability kind of tank, taper off, and then that system is going to continue off to the east into tonight and tomorrow, and then we get another round of crazy severe weather. But that all plays here into our significant hail model, right? So we get all those factors kind of tied together into what the computer thinks our hail could look like for today. So Dallas, you guys have some pretty good chances throughout the day. It's going to stay in these moderate to high values as the system tracks forward. This is where we get the most intense change as that cold front dry line combo quickly tracks southeast. But initially by 5 p.m. Central, Omaha and just southwest of Des Moines could see some large hail potential as that system gets started. It's going to track eastward, and then again through Oklahoma City and Wichita, we have the potential. Can there be a disturbance in that area that's strong enough to spark those storms, and can that low pressure system get out of the way fast enough? That's the big question mark, but there is potential for some significant hail through Wichita and OKC if both of those things can happen. Dallas still looking pretty good by around 10 p.m. and then that's going to continue to shift off to the east with that cold front later tonight and tomorrow morning. So future radar wise, here's what it's looking like. So starting with the southern part of our risk along I-20, we're starting to see those supercell activity development through 5:30 p.m. tonight. That's going to continue to quickly intensify, moving into the DFW area now by around 8 p.m. And we've got another pretty sharp supercell moving just eastward of the Waco area, and then more development through Louisiana and Arkansas as well. That's going to continue to track eastward, so by 9 p.m. moving out of the DFW area and along, I wish I knew what highway this was, but I'm directionally impaired, but along a highway that's east of I-35. And then we've got some Arkansas and Louisiana development as well. It's going to continue to blow up, moving towards Memphis, and now it's 11 p.m., so Memphis area could be getting into some showers and then some louder thunderstorms by later tonight. And then we get this pretty mean-looking band that's starting to move into Shreveport. It's small, but it's a bow, which means that there's a lot of wind packing a punch behind that storm system. 45, sweet, okay. So moving across 45, thanks, Mike. But we get this bow that's moving into Shreveport, and with that, we could see some pretty powerful wind as well as hail potential too. So Shreveport, you're not in the clear for tonight. And then that's going to continue off to the east, and just check out the intensity of this. It's small again, but it's a bow nonetheless, and it's tracking into Mississippi. And with that, again, hail, wind, the works is possible. So we're watching that closely. Now into the northern end of the risk, that's where we could see some more intense activity, and the longevity of our supercells is really going to play a lot into our hail size as well as our wind potential. And that's, usually what we get is the quicker that they band up, the faster that our hail chances taper off and the faster our wind chances pick up. So that's the key factor for our northern end of the risk here. So by around 5 p.m., we're going to start to see development once again, and you can see some storms starting to develop through South Dakota there. But it really gets going quick. So there it is by 7:30. We get some nasty looking storms through the Sioux Falls area. Got a supercell over in western Minnesota as well as the northern part of Iowa here. And then they're getting ready to form along that cold front through Omaha, along that triple point, and there you go. So we get a nasty line of thunderstorms tracking through there, as well as these supercells on the leading edge of that. Now the placement of these supercells will really impact your hail chances for tonight, Des Moines, so be attentive to that as we see how far north or south these will shift. Those are going to continue to track up to the northeast through the La Crosse area, and then those storms band up and start to track off to the east. Weakening a little bit overnight, but it could ramp up again pretty significantly for tomorrow, and we'll have another risk for you guys through the Ohio Valley and Midwest to talk about in a moment. So, putting that all together here, here's our Storm Derik hail forecast. So, got our purple swath up near that triple point, up near that cold front dry line intersection where we get the best instability. And then we are extending our hail swath all the way for 2.5 inches all the way through Oklahoma and down into Dallas-Fort Worth area. Again, this part of the swath is going to be very conditional. In Kansas City, you guys actually do have a chance for hail tonight. Again, it's just going to be really dependent on how quickly those storms band up. So we're watching you guys. You could get some large hail if it stays singular tracking over you guys. So again, just for you guys, cross your fingers if you're looking for hail. But quarters to half dollars anywhere possible in this region all the way eastward into Kentucky. So now if you guys are in the Lafayette area or New Orleans, you guys are probably going to be on the far eastward part of this risk, low end chance for large hail for you guys into tonight. Same with you guys, San Antonio. Shreveport, with that band that tracks through, as well as those singular storms that are going to be moving over you this afternoon, better chance for some large hail, possibly ping pong to golf ball sized, as well as gusty winds. Dallas-Fort Worth, you know, we get a lot of storms developing in this Dallas-Fort Worth-Waco corridor, and so with those, you got a high-end chance of seeing large hail around you guys. We got to wait and see if those track into the metro area, but we're going to be wanting to be on high alert for tonight for large hail with those supercells that are pretty consistently developing in that corridor between Waco and DFW. Little Rock, Memphis, Paducah, lower end chance for you for the same reason as New Orleans, Lafayette, going to be on the eastward part of that risk with that band. And then Wichita, Springfield, OKC, low end chance for you guys, again, because this is very conditional. If storms develop in your area, they're likely to blow up like we're seeing in the north, where we could get some large hail, potential rotation, and we could get some supercells. Louisville's in the risk for tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, but we could get some pretty intense weather moving through Kentucky. But for the central part of the risk, very conditional, and again, if it happens, it could be big time hail. Now, for the more probable part of this risk, it's going to be up north again, where we're getting that best storm dynamic environment. So Omaha, likeliest to see hail tonight with those supercells, and then with that line moving through. Des Moines, high-end chance of seeing hail around your area. Now, tracking through the city is going to be a question mark, again, because of the placement of those supercells. But those in and around the Des Moines area should, like DFW, be on high alert for hail tonight. La Crosse, moderate chance for you. KC, moderate chance for you, as those storms are starting to band up, but we could still see some supercell activity through there. And then St. Louis, Paducah, low-end chance for you guys. Then, for wind, oh wait, no, we're doing our city forecast. I always forget that, but for our city forecast, sponsored by C3 Group, we're looking at our 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. storm timeline for Des Moines. Hail chances, if it can hail in the Des Moines area, 2.5 inches. It's likely that we'll see some large hail associated with those supercell structures. Chance of 1 inch hail around you guys is high. Again, it's questionable whether it can get into the metro, but those in and around, I'm thinking this is DFW, Des Moines should be on high alert once again for those supercells. And if those cells track over you, it's likely that they'll be producing some large hail. So we just want to be on the lookout for that. Going to be very similar through DFW into tonight, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., so you got a shorter timeline for those storms tracking in and out of the metro, but likelier that you guys will see some close calls or possible impacts with these supercell storms tracking through the city. So 2.5 inch hail possible with those supercells, and again, any supercell storms that can form are likely to be large hailers. So chance for max hail size of 2.5 inch, you know, is high. Chance of anything greater than golf balls is also high, and your chance of seeing hail around you guys in the severe limits, high again. So in the red for DFW tonight, definitely want to be on high alert. Then finally for the wind forecast into today. So we've got all sorts of hail probabilities, or all sorts of wind probabilities as well, and then our hatched area where the most intense hail could fall and where we're seeing that most intense storm development consistently on our models. So starting out down in Louisiana, Texas, DFW and Shreveport are again in a moderate for wind and tornadoes possible. You know, whenever you get those supercell structures, there's a chance for rotation. So we're watching out for tornadoes as well. Waco and Houston, lower end chance for you guys. We'll have to see if things track through the area. Low end chance for anything through the Oklahoma-Arkansas corridor, and low end chance for anything through that central corridor where we're still waiting to see how the environmental dynamics play out. But again, this area could start to see the same as what we're getting up north, the same as what we're getting in DFW, if we can get that system to track just perfectly out of OKC's area. Then St. Louis, Paducah, low end chance for you. Chicago, as that's moving into your area tomorrow morning. And then Kansas City, moderate for you as that band tracks over you, so likely we could get some gusty winds. Then the best chance is going to be Omaha and Des Moines, once again with those supercell structures pretty consistently present, and then a band tracking in right behind you. So tornadoes possible, gusty winds possible. You know, again, it's a day where you want to be tuning into your weather and watching that very closely. Minneapolis on the north end of that risk still gets a moderate, as we're seeing those cells track into your area as well. So be on the lookout today. Could be a doozy for a lot of y'all in the Midwest and in the Mississippi Valley. We're watching it close and we'll keep you updated. You know, we'll go live if anything crazy happens. But into tomorrow, going to be similar type of day. Busy, just shifting off a little bit into the east. So Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, any of you guys could be starting us off. It'll be showery, you know, it'll be cooler in the morning, so we'll still see those storms tracking through, but the widespread severity should taper off just for a few hours, and then by 2 p.m. we're starting to get that band form once again through central Louisiana as well as through Missouri, Arkansas area. Starting to see some singular cells develop, and then there they go, blowing up just 2 hours later. Here we are at 4 p.m. So the intensity of these storms is just blowing up so quickly because of the environment through this area. So definitely no joke as they move into Memphis by 4 p.m. Could see a chance for some hail as well as gusty winds with any of these storms, specifically these ones that stay singular and get that chance to rotate, right? And then as those track on eastward, we're getting 2 bands, almost 3 here. So we got one tracking through Memphis around 7:30, one tracking through Tupelo by around 7:30, and then another one moving into the Mobile, Alabama area. More of a cluster down here, but still very intense thunderstorm development. We could get with any of these some damaging straight line winds as well as some possible rotating storms. So again, it could be similar to what we saw last week through the southeast. Again, just watch, we're going to want to watch it. Nashville by around 11 p.m. and now moving into Jackson, Mississippi. And then that's going to continue off to the southeast, kind of weakening a little bit as we go. And then we should get, you know, a lower end east coast risk by Thursday with that system. Then off to the north, you know, there's a lot to cover. This is just such a widespread system. You know, it's a gigantic low pressure system, gigantic cold front, fueling a ton of severe weather across the nation here. So by around noon, things should be a little bit more into full swing on the northern end of that system. Through St. Louis around the early afternoon, we could get some gusty winds as well as rotating storms. And then just a whole mess through the Ohio Valley. Michigan could get some, as well as parts of Ohio and Indiana. That's going to continue off to the east, and so again, pretty robust storms through St. Louis, and then off through Cincinnati, off through Chicago, and then those are going to continue. And now it's a pretty mean looking line by around 5:30. So that's around the time we get peak heating of the day is late afternoon. So that means that's a peak instability of the day, and that's what you're seeing here around 5:30 with this band of storms moving into that strong unstable environment. Getting ready to move through Indianapolis. There it goes, and then tracking into the Louisville area. So, you know, asking about Louisville, Cincinnati, that's around 9 p.m. for you guys, and it's a nasty line of storms once again. Could see some rotation on those, as well as damaging straight line winds with any of these curving bow structures that are moving through. So, going to be a loud night for you guys in the Ohio Valley. and then that's going to, like the southern risk, continue off to the east, tapering off a little bit as it goes for Thursday morning. Should be waking up to some clearer skies, cooler temperatures. So here's what we have for our hail forecast for you guys. Like I said, it's going to be a similar type of risk, very widespread, and could see some large hail possible as well. There is also a small hail risk in Pennsylvania that we'll talk about here. It's on our future radar, but there's just so much to cover here. So quarters to half dollars anywhere from Wisconsin down into Louisiana. We could see that severe weather active. And then our best chance for the largest hail is going to be through the southern part of the Mississippi Valley, where we get our highest instability values. So if you guys are in Houston, lower end chance for you. We got to wait for things to develop a little bit as they track east and get into that hot part of the day. So, you know, if you guys are in Fort Smith, if you guys are in Little Rock, Shreveport, Lafayette, or Jackson, that's when the bulk of those storms are really starting to get going and ramp up as they track east. So moderate chance for you guys to see hail through any of these areas, and this swath through the south central part of the Mississippi Valley is likeliest where we'll see our largest hail. Then Nashville, lower end chance for you as we get later on into the night. Louisville, Indianapolis, and Chicago, just depending on the timing of that band moving over you. Low end chance during the day to see gusty, or this is, I'm sorry, so sorry. This is for hail, so low end chance for you to see severe hail as things look like they're banded up as they track over you guys. So low end chance for that, but it'll be different for wind. So now St. Louis in a moderate chance for you guys to see hail with those singular cells. Then off into Pennsylvania, there's going to be just a couple of scattered supercells that are tracking northeastward through the area. Scranton, low end chance for you guys to see some activity associated with that through the afternoon hours. And then it should be in and out pretty quickly, and you should, again, be seeing some cooler skies or clear skies, cooler temperatures as that moves through. Then for wind, going to have two similar risk areas through much of the Ohio Valley, much of the Mississippi Valley. This is a very expansive risk here. Best chance for severe winds and possible rotation is going to be through the central part of our swath. So jumping on in here, New Orleans, moderate chance for you with the band. Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston, you know, again, lower end chance, got to wait for things to develop as they track east, but it's not impossible that we could get some gusty winds for you guys into tomorrow. Fort Smith, moderate chance, and then things really hit full swing once they move into this central Mississippi Valley area. That's where we're seeing the bulk of our activity. So Memphis, Little Rock, Shreveport, Jackson. High-end chance for you guys to see damaging wind gusts possible tomorrow in and around your area, as well as possible tornadic activity. So definitely not a storm system we want to be messing around with here. So, and then Birmingham, Nashville, moderate chance for you with that band tracking eastward, lower end chance for Atlanta. Then tracking up to the northeast, here we go. Okay, so through the northern end of the Mississippi Valley, looks like things might break up a little bit. So Chicago, Cleveland, going to have a lower end chance for you, as well as those in the Grand Rapids, Detroit area. Then down into St. Louis, another high end chance for you with the strongest part of this storm system. And then as it weakens a little bit, tracking east, lower end chance for Louisville, lower end chance for Lexington, Cincinnati. But it does look like we'll still get a pretty solid band tracking over you guys. So could get some gusty winds. Moderate chance to see some severe wind gusts through your area, as well as potential tornadoes. So again, just want to be on the lookout. Then that's it for today and tomorrow. It's going to be a wild day, and it could be another busy one tomorrow, and then finishing things off on Thursday with an East Coast risk that we'll talk to you guys about tomorrow. So if you want to stay tuned, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video, and hit that subscribe and notification bell on YouTube as well, and you can catch us there. And then if you want to follow us on TikTok, we are trying to do live forecast discussions as often as possible for these crazy storm systems. We're trying to do those ahead of the forecast video, so if you want to be in the know ahead of time, follow us on TikTok for when we go live there, and you can also see some of the fun things we do around our office, some chase footage, etc. And then if you want to call us, you can get us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details. And we'll keep you updated as always. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers. Thanks for watching.